In today's video, I want to highlight a couple of things, most notably, Anthem Legion of Dawn Edition is ridiculously cheap right now. Not really giving you guys an update on that necessarily because I want everyone in droves to go pick up the game. However, I just find it rather funny how cheap this game is getting, given that it just came out back in, early February? So it's still a relatively recent release, all things considered. The game came out this year, but the price is just ridiculous on it over at GameStop, so I want to highlight that. Also, a new rumor is suggesting a new Crash Bandicoot game will be revealed next week. I think everyone is expecting a new Crash Bandicoot game to get announced at some point. However, this would be rather exciting. And lastly, I do want to go over a bunch of smaller PlayStation 4 games that have gotten some updates. We'll go through those rather quickly at the end of this video. Before you guys watch this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and do hit the bell notification button as well so you'll be notified whenever a new video is uploaded. With that being said, onto this video. But first up, Anthem Legion of Dawn Edition over at GameStop right now is down to just $5. Now, Anthem was down to $5 for GameStop's Black Friday sale. However, I don't recall if that was for the base game or if it was for the Legion of Dawn Edition. Whatever the case may be, for it to be down to a regular $5 outside of Black Friday, that is rather ridiculous. I mean, I know that Anthem got quite a negative reception when it came back in February of 2019, but you typically don't see games, even as poorly as they are received, get dropped in price this hard, this quickly. I mean, you usually don't see games that originally released at a $59.99 price point to go to $5 within years. I mean, a lot of games that came out years ago aren't even $5 now. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag was a launch title, and that still isn't $5, and there are a lot of other games that are like that, but in less than a year, Anthem the Legion of Dawn Edition is down to $5. Now, the game is also available, the entirety of it, on Origin Access Basic and EA Access, so you can play it that way. However, for it to be down to $5 is ridiculous. Battlefield 5 is available on Origin Access and EA Access. However, obviously, even when that's on sale, it's not available for $5. Some of the older EA games are, but a game that was released in the early portion of 1 year to end up being down to $5 by the end of the year is pretty ridiculous, and that being for a game that was released at a full $59.99. Obviously, there are games that are released for $9.99 or $14.99 that could get relatively cheap rather quickly. But for a game to literally go down to a 1/12 of its original cost, that is pretty ridiculous. I mean, I don't think Anthem is as terrible as some other people think. I'm not saying it's a good game, however, some people think that Anthem is the biggest abomination to gaming in history, and I don't quite think it's that bad. I mean, even the Metacritic score kind of reflects that. It's got a 54 on Metacritic for PS4. The Xbox One version actually has a little bit higher of a score at a 65, and the PC version has a 59. Game Informer even gave it a 7 out of 10, EGM 7.5, Destructoid 7 out of 10, IGN 6.5 out of 10, so those scores don't necessarily reflect the biggest abomination and worst game of all time. However, I will concede the fact, given that it was BioWare, it was definitely not their best outing, probably one of their worst games ever. I mean, I don't recall the entire BioWare lineup since their inception right off the top of my head, but in recent memory, it is without a doubt their worst game. I mean, I guess you can make an argument that Andromeda was worse, but even then, I think Andromeda was a little bit better of a game. For it to be down to $5, however, if you just want to try it out, if you want to experience it for legacy sakes, because this is kind of an iconic game for all of the wrong reasons, the game is down to $5 over at GameStop, and I will leave a link to it in the description box below if you are interested. Alright, moving on from that, how about some positive news? Although Anthem being down to $5, I guess, can be some positive news to someone, but some real positive news. There's a rumor circulating that a new Crash Bandicoot game will be revealed next week. Rumors of a new entry in the Crash Bandicoot franchise have been circling for a while now, thanks to the success of the Insane Trilogy and Nitro Fueled remasters, but things have reached a whole new level as almost concrete evidence surfaced that an announcement is coming. 7 social media influencers have been sent Crash Bandicoot memorabilia out of the blue, a situation very similar in vein to the unveiling of Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. What is coming up? Wink wink, it is the Game Awards. Wouldn't that be a perfect time to announce a brand new Crash title? And given that Jeff Keighley did note that we're gonna get 15 new game announcements coming out of the Game Awards, this would be as perfect of a time as ever for a new Crash Crash to be announced. It's a big platform to announce a game, probably the biggest outside of E3, and there's going to be a lot of eyeballs to all of the new announcements, and Crash Bandicoot is one of those franchises that if a new game is announced, it'll just go viral and it'll take over all social media platforms, and everybody would be all over it. And given the sales of the Insane Trilogy and Nitro Fueled, I think that just reinforces the fact that Activision should bring back Crash Bandicoot with a brand new game, and hopefully after this, while I would be very excited for a new Crash title, I'm personally a little bit more partial to Spyro the Dragon. It really depends on what franchise you're a little bit more nostalgic with, and for me, it's definitely Spyro the Dragon. I played Crash Bandicoot way back in the PS1 days, but it didn't resonate as strongly with me back then as Crash Bandicoot did. Nowadays, if you're just getting into the games, obviously they're both really well-made platformers, and either collection is a great pickup now. However, that nostalgia element definitely does go a little ways, especially with games as iconic as Crash and Spyro. But that is a little bit of bias coming in. If a new Crash was announced, that would be something that would be very exciting, but ultimately, nostalgia isn't going to be able to carry a brand new game. Nostalgia works for the original trilogy because the original trilogy are what they are. The games fundamentally are already in place. For a new Crash Bandicoot game, something that is completely new, it also has to be a quality title, and hopefully it does deliver as a quality title, and then they can build upon from that, because Crash Bandicoot is a franchise that I would love to see as an established face in the gaming ecosystem heading into, the latter portion of this generation, the end of this generation, and into the next generation. So keep an eye out on that. The most likely time for an announcement would be the Game Awards. Alright, lastly, I do want to cover a couple of games that have gotten updates on the PlayStation 4, notably smaller titles that are out later this year and early next year. The horror puzzle platformer Tamashii is coming to the PS4 on December 17th. And it notes it's inspired by obscure Japanese games from the 90s and late 80s. Tamashii is a unique puzzle platformer set in a distorted world of striking horror and unsettling imagery. An eldritch entity lurks inside the temple, a disturbing domain of death and danger. A mysterious stranger is summoned to this twisted hell to discover the source of evil that emanates from within. Can you survive the devilish traps, tricky puzzles, and monstrous beings looming in Tamashii's dark corridors? Has a really cool pixelated aesthetic, and again, that is coming December 17th. Also coming December 17th, the local multiplayer action game Demons with Shotguns, and it notes to be the ultimate couch fragger give fest. Armed with a powerful boomstick and bullet deflecting shield, up to 4 players wage unholy war against each other as they compete for souls in 9 different local multiplayer game modes. Wave mode for 1 to 2 players also included across 4 realms and 40 arenas. This is demonic local multiplayer action at its best. It originally released on PC back in April of 2016, so it's been out for quite a while, and it was received decently well over there. Not a ton of people checked it out, but it will be headed to the PS4 on December 17th. And lastly, I do want to note that Song of Horror is coming to the PS4 in Q2 of 2020. It's a tale of the famed but now elusive writer Sebastian P. Husher. A man, along with his entire family, has gone missing without rhyme or reason. The third chapter is inspired by famed survival horror game Obscure, which is a pretty good one, and once again tasks the player with taking on an enemy that uses advanced AI to react to every player's move, better known as the Presence. It notes investigate a paranormal mystery wrapped up in a story of psychological horror, tangle with the Presence, an otherworldly entity with its own adaptive AI that reacts to your actions and decisions to deliver an unscripted, unpredictable slice of horror. Choose between a group of unique characters, each one bringing their own point of view to play, with a different relationship with both the story and other characters. When characters die, they die for good, but the horror continues with the investigation picked up by a new character tackling the story from a unique perspective, but one affected by their predecessor's actions. Explore haunted, sinister locations to gather clues to piece together the mystery behind the missing Sebastian P. Husher. Again, the game doesn't have an official release date at this point, just a release window established for Q2 of 2020, but if you're into more narrative and mystery-driven horror titles, this one will definitely be one to check out. And by the way, the third chapter of the PC version is due out on December 13th, and Episode 1 has been pretty well received over there, so excited to see that make the transition to the PS4 as well. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, Anthem Legion of Dawn Edition is ridiculously cheap right now. Wouldn't even necessarily say it's worth a buy. However, if you have been eyeing it up just to experience what Anthem is and why it's one of the most, notorious games, I think is a better word to describe Anthem, then hey, for $5, I don't think it's the worst buy in the world. Rumor has it that a new Crash Bandicoot game reveal is planned for next week, probably at the Game Awards, so we'll keep you guys posted for that, and a bunch of updates on a variety of games. Tamashii, as well as Demons with Shotguns, is coming to the PS4 on December 17th, and Song of Horror will be headed to the console in Q2 of 2020. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.